Dear friends, according to Section 5 of the Indian Evidence Act, the theory of relevancy of fact states that evidence is permitted to be given in any suit or proceeding with respect to number one, logical relevancy or reasoning. Second thing, legal reasoning, and of no other facts. So, in that context, what we have to see the doctrine of res geste. Friends, why the theory of relevancy of fact talks about? The object of this theory is to restrict the scope of judicial investigation to certain boundaries beyond which it cannot go, and if that has been done, it can save the time of the court. In order to save the precious time of the court and to confine the court to the issue that has been posed in front of the court, the theory of relevancy of fact needs to be applicable. So this theory is based upon the principle frustra probatur quo probatum non-relevant. That means non-relevant thing, if they are allowed to be made admissible before the court, that would be a frustrating thing and that would ultimately hamper the administration of justice. So the principle in briefs talks about the fact that the aspect that irrelevant or unwarranted evidence shall not be allowed. Friends, in that context, under Section 6 of the Indian Evidence Act, we are going to see the doctrine res geste. When it comes to the word res geste, it is the Latin term and the meaning of that term is the things done. So what it is talking about? Number one, surrounding and accompanying circumstances which are inseparable from the fact in issue and are necessary to explain the nature of main act. So why this doctrine of res geste is made applicable? Because whatever the circumstances are there around any fact in issue, so in order to interpret them, provide necessary explanation of the main nature of the act, in that context we need to apply this doctrine. These includes acts, declarations accompanying, explaining the transaction or the facts in issue. So these are the circumstances and they are inseparable from the fact in issue, and that circumstances include certain acts or declaration that explain or accompany the transaction or the fact in issue. In that context, that becomes relevant. Friends, as far as the scope of the res geste is concerned, it aims to complete the missing link in the chain of evidence of solitary witness. If there is a solitary kind of witness and if the court finds any kind of a missing link, then the doctrine of res geste comes to the help of the court, and therefore it is also considered as due to certain reasons that exception to the general rule of hearsay. In a brief, the subject matter of Section 6, which talks about res geste, can be extended beyond Section 6, and that may include, as per the English law book, Section 7, 8, 9 and 14, and they are treated as part and parcel, taking into account the circumstances of the case. The court may think accordingly, and it will be those sections may be considered as part and parcel of res geste. Friends, now we'll move to the content of the text of Section 6. What does it speaks about? The title of this section is Relevancy of Facts Forming Part of Same Transaction. What the contents of Section 6 are talking about? It is talking about relevancy of facts forming part of same transaction. It is talking about certain facts which forms part of same transaction. So same transaction, and if these facts are part and parcel of such transaction, then such facts are relevant as per as section 6 is concerned in accordance with the doctrine of res gestae. Now we'll see the text of this particular section. It says the facts which, though not in issue, there are certain facts, they are not directly involved in fact in issue or issue before the court, but are so connected with a fact in issue as to form part of same transaction, are relevant whether they occurred at the same time and place or at different times and places. See, what is the main emphasis of this section 6 is they sometimes there are certain facts that are not directly involved in fact in issue, but still they have that kind of potential, and as they form part of same transaction, they become relevant because they have occurred sometimes at the same time and place or at different times and places, and that makes necessary to make those kind of facts relevant. We'll go further. Res gestae could be understood with this animation. Friends, res gestae means things done, words spoken. It comprises of at least one component of the words that I have placed in front of you on the screen. Either there may be action or there may be words spoken, or sometimes there may be combination of both the things. Res gestae means what? Things done, words spoken, forming part of same transaction, are relevant in if it is a matter of civil nature, or sometimes it may be the matter relating to crime. So in brief, we can summarize that there are certain things or words spoken which forms part of same transaction, and they are relevant. They become, due to that their nature of being part of the same transaction, they may become relevant under the civil matters or the criminal matters. Now friends, we have to go further. So the example is in front of you. The civil kind of a word that is attached with another photograph, and we can infer from that photograph the kind of civil activity is going on, action is going on. That is a contract that contains the essential elements or the fact in issue as proposal, acceptance, consideration, etc. Apart from that, sometimes the action done by the customers and the proposers and the another person who are part and parcel of that contract, whatever has been said and done by them at the same time and in the connection with the main transaction, that is the contract, that becomes relevant. Similarly, in second picture, which is the picture depicting the imaginary picture of assassination of then President of USA, that is Abraham Lincoln, and the gunman is firing at him, and he is trying to defend himself. A couple of ladies are there, they are crying, they might be begging the killer, assassin, not to kill Mr. President. At the same time, another person is there who is trying to stop the killer. So all these activities are part and parcel of the same transaction of crime, of murder. So they are relevant as per as the doctrine of res gestae is concerned. Friends, now the question comes, what is mean by same transaction? Stephen has defined the concept of same transaction. We'll have a glance upon it. A transaction is a group of facts. Basically, a transaction is a group of facts. It is so connected together. These group of facts are so connected together that they are as to be referred by a single legal name. This group of fact, which is we are talking about the transaction, they are connected together in a such way that as to be referred by a single legal name. It may be, number one, as a crime, sometimes it may be a contract, it may be sometimes a civil wrong, or any other subject of inquiry which may be in issue, So this is what the idea. What I'm saying, if it is a crime and crime is a transaction and crime is a transaction, if contract is there, it is also a transaction, and a wrong is there, it is also transaction, or any kind of legal issue that is under the inquiry, or it is the subject of inquiry in the issue. If there are other facts which are related to such transaction, they become relevant if they form part of same transaction transaction, and in that context such relevant facts are the facts are there which are so connected to each other, therefore they form part of same transaction, and that becomes relevant under doctrine of res gestae. My dear friends, here is the picture. A cricketer, cricket, the sport of cricket is going on in the picture, and the bowler is taking the action after the green signal given by the umpire, and all the players, batsmen, they are taking a kind of a guard, and right from the running off by the bowler, and the ball is hit by the batsman, and that is later on caught by or fielded by the fielders. Whatever the actions that have happened, they are part of same transaction, because there is a kind of a chain, a continuity, spontaneity is there, and therefore they can be treated as part of same transaction. My dear friends, once again we will come to the point, what exactly means the facts forming part of same transaction. The transaction consists of both of physical acts and the words accompanying such physical acts, whether they are spoken by a person doing such act or the person to whom such acts are done. They are called as participants in the act. Sometimes any other person or persons who may be bystanders. So if anything is happening, it is a legal kind of a transaction. We have already gone through as a crime, it may be a contract or a wrong or any subject of inquiry and in the issue. So whatever it may be, and the physical acts or words accompanying such physical acts, they are either spoken by the person doing such act or to person to whom such acts are done, or any bystander, any other person or persons. So all those kind of physical acts and words accompanying certain these physical acts, they become relevant as far as the, because they are a part and parcel of the same transaction. My dear friends, we'll come to the another point. What exactly it is trying to convey. I am referring the Hadu versus State. This is the case of 1951. It is talking about transaction consists of different acts. The transaction consists of different acts, and these acts form a chain, inseparable kind of a chain. It forms inseparable kind of a chain. Inseparable because they are connected together. Why they are inseparable? Because these kind of acts are inseparable, and these acts or words spoken, whatever it may be, are so connected together due to certain reason, namely number one, proximity of time, because those things, those acts or the statements they have been spoken, they have happened with the proximity of time. Sometimes there may be proximity of place, as I have shown you. A crime is happening and the bystanders and the victim of the crime, all they are there at the particular kind of a place, and at the time of that, whatever has been done or said by those people, that becomes relevant, because that is forming part of same transaction. Why that is becoming relevant? Because such facts are forming part of same transaction. Such acts, words spoken, forms part of same transaction, therefore they are relevant. And continuity of action and community of purpose or design. So there is a kind of a continuity is there between the acts and words spoken. Whatever the pictures I have shown earlier, you can recall them, refresh your memory with those things, and you will find that they form part of same transaction because they have become inseparable due to the proximity of time, proximity of place, and continuity of action and community of purpose and desire. My dear friends, we'll see once again the same picture I have brought for you is the assassination of Mr. President Abraham Lincoln, and I have imagined put certain words in their mouth and their activities of defending the kind of crime. So you can see there are words spoken, and the color change in color, that is talking about words spoken and the things done. The person in first picture, the assassiner is trying to assassinate Mr. President, and that time the person who is standing by him, bystander, he might have said, "Don't shoot him," and he might have attempted to prevent the attack. So he spoke certain words and did certain act. Similarly, certain act was done by the nearby women who are sitting beside him. Their action, their words, that is also considered as part of same transaction. Similarly, the victim might have said "ahaha," and he might have raised his hand to defend himself. That words, those words and the thing done to defend himself, that are part and parcel of same transaction. Similarly is the second case. Whatever has been said or done at the same time, that can be considered as part and parcel of same transaction, and as it is a part of same transaction, therefore it is relevant under the doctrine of res gesti. My dear friends, we'll see one example. A is accused of murder of B by beating him. Whatever was said or done by A or B or by standards at the beating, at the time when the crime had happened, or so shortly before or after it, as to form part of same transaction, is a relevant fact. So who are the participant in particular crime? The A is accused one, and the victim B, and at the same time bystanders are also there who might have either supported the act, might have defended the act, might have cried, whatever it may be there. So if those things are formed in chain, that have happened in chain, then they are part of same transaction, and if that are part of same transaction, then therefore they are relevant as per as doctrine of res gesti is concerned. My dear friends, if there are certain statements, words spoken, and they have to be made admissible as a part of same transaction, then certain things are necessary. Number one, such statement must be made during the transaction. When the transaction was going on continuously, spontaneously, the statement must have been made at the same time or in the connection of that flow. That is necessary thing. Second thing, such a statement must be spontaneous. It must not be, there must not be any kind of a break. It must be spontaneous. There should not be any kind of artificial kind of designing the words. Those must be but natural, spontaneous. Thirdly, such statement must exclude possibility of being fabricated. The statement should not be involving any kind of a malice or fabrication, manipulation. It must be spontaneous one. It must be contemporaneously arising out of such occurrence of maybe a crime, maybe a contract, or maybe a wrong, whatever it may be. But it must have come contemporarily or contemporaneously arising out of such occurrence. Sometimes such statement may be exclamation arising out of fact of hurt. If somebody gets hurt, he may cry. Sometimes a person who is in tragedy or in kind of difficulty may seek spontaneously help from other. Sometimes exclamation may be out of disbelief, cautioning, or sometimes liking the things. So all such statements, they are considered as part of same transaction, and if they are spontaneous, a reaction to the fact and the like, then that becomes part of same transaction, and therefore they become relevant as per as doctrine of res gesta is concerned. Dear friends, in that connection, FIR that is registered under section 154 of CRPC may be admissible as a res geste. For example, if there is a quarrel, brawl is between two persons, they have fought. Later on, one of the person goes to the police station, registers the case, and as the person, the victim or the person claiming to be a victim has registered the case, the person who is accused of beating him, he might get angered and again he may beat him. So this kind of action or the kind of a transaction goes on without any kind of break, and therefore the FIR registered may also be treated as part and parcel of res geste. Dear friends, we'll come to certain important kind of case laws. In Ratan versus Regina, it is old case, and what has happened, the person, a dying woman was there who made a distress telephone call to the police. She was about to die, and in that kind of a distress she called the police and she said, get me the police please. You just try to imagine, she is about to die, a voice is not coming out of properly her mouth, and still she is able to call the police, and she might have said, get me the police please. And as soon as the police visit the place of after verifying the fact, when the police have reached the place, and they found the woman, the very woman who called them, is dead, she is no more. When they inquired, and the husband said that it was accidental of kind of a fire, and out of that she might have died. That is what he is, the logic he is trying to put in front of police. But you try to understand, if the accident is there, no wife would call the police. On the basis of that, the husband was charged with the murder of her. But we have to come to the main point, that what she said to the police on telephone. As soon as the gun was fired by the husband, she was about to die and she called the police, and later on the police found her dead. So the court held that such distress call, telephone call that was made and the statement made by her was part of same transaction. Therefore, telephone call by the woman before the death was treated as admissible as a res gesta. Then we'll see another kind of example in the form of the case, that is R versus Bedingfield. In this case, a woman who was about to die came out of room suddenly with silted throat. A throat was of her was cut, and she suddenly came out of the room and she said to the witness, and see what Bedingfield has done to me. This is the case of R versus Bedingfield. That means the victim came out of the room and the throat was silted, it was cut, and the blood was coming out, and in that condition she tried to convey the message to the witness that see what the Mr. Bedingfield, that is the accused, has done to her. But the Justice Cockburn found that such statement is not admissible as res geste because the statement was made after the incident was over. The court did not consider that such kind of a statement, that and see what Bedingfield has done to me, is a part of a same transaction, and therefore it did not allow. If such statement is not allowed under section 6, it may be relevant some other way. It may be, if the woman might have died, if she has died, then it may be relevant as far as dying declaration is concerned, but certainly it was not made applicable or admissible under this case, as the court did not think it is a part of same transaction. It found it is not a spontaneous. It is not a spontaneous. There is a break, and the chain was broken, and therefore, as the chain was broken, that was the conclusion that was made by the court. It did not consider that statement of that dying woman as part of same transaction. So this is what the difficulty sometimes, how to infer, how to infer when the transaction starts and where it ends. We have to come to the point very precisely, and logically we have to convince the court. Unless and until the court get convinced, the court will not admit it as part of same transaction. It will not consider, and therefore there will not be question of application of doctrine of res gestae. Friends, there is another kind of case law, Gentela, Vijayavardhan Rao and others versus state of Andhra Pradesh. Here, the statement, whether the statement is admissible as a res gestae or not, the statement of a victim of a particular crime was taken for the debate whether it is part and parcel of res gestae or not. So what happened in this case? There was a passenger bus that was set ablaze with petrol and matchbox by the accused, and wherein 23 passengers were roasted to death. 23 people died out of such kind of fire. And when the bus caught the fire, certain victims, they were taken to the hospital, and once persons were taken hospital, one of such person who was on lying, who was about to die, he gave his statement to the magistrate that was recorded by duly recorded by the magistrate, and he narrated each and every event about of the act of carnage and how all those things happened. But the court found that there is a big interval between the acts of carnage and recording the statement by the magistrate. Therefore, there is a break. When the incidents happened, immediately the statement was not made. But later on, when the victim was hospitalized, there itself the magistrate recorded the statement. Therefore, it is not part of same transaction. मित्रों, सेक्शन 6 रेस गेस्टाe नामक सिद्धांत को प्रतिपादित करता है। अगर हम हिंदी संस्करण में सेक्शन 6 को देखने की कोशिश करेंगे तो वो कहलाता है एक ही समव्यवहार, समव्यवहार माने ट्रांजैक्शन के भाग होने वाले तथ्यों की सुसंगति। मैं एक बार उसे दोहराता हूं, एक ही समव्यवहार के भाग होने वाले तथ्यों की सुसंगति। फैक्ट्स फॉर्मिंग पार्ट ऑफ सेम ट्रांजैक्शन। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट रिलीवेंसी ऑफ फैक्ट्स फॉर्मिंग पार्ट ऑफ सेम ट्रांजैक्शन। तो अब ये क्या कहता है सेक्शन? जो तथ्य विवाद्य न होते हुए भी, समटाइम्स देर आर सर्टन फैक्ट्स, तथ्य माने फैक्ट्स, दे आर नॉट डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व और रिलेटेड टू फैक्ट इन इश्यू, स्टिल जो तथ्य विवाद्य न होते हुए भी किसी विवादक तथ्य से उस प्रकार संसक्त है कि वे एक ही समव्यवहार के भाग है। दे आर सो कनेक्टेड टू ईच अदर, दे फॉर्म पार्ट ऑफ सेम ट्रांजैक्शन। एक ही, अगर वो विवादित तथ्य का पार्ट है भी नहीं तो भी उनका जो कनेक्शन इस प्रकार का है कि जैसे लगता है मानो दे आर पार्ट ऑफ सेम ट्रांजैक्शन। वो तथ्य सुसंगत है, चाहे वे उसी समय और स्थान पर या विभिन्न समयों और स्थानों पर घटित हुए हो। यानी हमने वो क्रिकेट का उदाहरण दिखाया, जब जो बॉलर है दौड़ते आता है, जब अंपायर ने उनको गार्ड दिया, परमिशन दिए कि वो अपना लीगल डिलीवरी करे, तब क्या होता है, जब स्पॉन्टेनिटी के साथ वो बॉल गेंद डालता है, बैट्समैन उसको शॉट खेलता है या उसके बाद जो फील्डर्स उसको डिफेंड करते हैं और बॉल डेड हो जाती है, तब तक जो फ्लो चलते रहता है, दैट आर पार्ट ऑफ सेम ट्रांजैक्शन। उसी प्रकार से कोई क्राइम हो या कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो या कोई सिविल रॉन्ग हो, उस दौरान जो फैक्ट इन इश्यू है उसके दौरान इर्द गिर्द कुछ ऐसी घटनाएं घटती है, एक्ट होते हैं या स्टेटमेंट्स दिए जाते हैं, किसने, जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स है उसमें, या कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो दोनों पार्टीज़ है या बायस्टैंडर है उनका, या क्राइम में जो शरीक है, जो एक्यूज्ड है और जो विक्टिम है वो, और उनके साथ बायस्टैंडर कोई भी हो, उनके द्वारा कही गई कोई स्टेटमेंट या कोई एक्टिविटी पार्ट ऑफ सेम ट्रांजैक्शन है, अगर वो सेम ट्रांजैक्शन है विद स्पॉन्टेनियस है, सेम ट्रांजैक्शन है, तो उस प्रकार के तथ्य फैक्ट दे बिकम रिलेवेंट एज पर एज डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ रेस गेस्टा इज कंसर्न. समटाइम्स other sections like 7, 8, 9 they may also come within the scope of res gestae, और जैसे कि इंग्लिश लॉ बताता है कभी कभी सेक्शन 14 भी उसमें शामिल हो सकता है. थैंक यू.